We all have a place that we go to get powered up. Whether it's a friend, workout, journaling, writing a book, networking, or even praying. Whatever it is, it's the place that you need to get your peace, strength, confidence, courage, self-awareness, and self-love back. It's your power spot. Welcome to my power spot, Building the Best You podcast. The podcast where I speak about various things helping the woman who leads to plug in and power back up in her purpose so that she can be healed and successful in her business and her home, mentally, spiritually, physically, emotionally, and financially, to build the best person that she can be for God's glory. Let's win together.
Hey y'all, it is me, Dr. Sha'Meca Latai. Wait a minute, let me just roll back for just a second. We're going to take out the titles and everything. It is me, Sha'Meca Latai, and I just want to welcome you to the unofficial Building the Best You podcast, where I'm going to talk about everything and anything, well, literally as God leads me. And that's how I roll. I just want to celebrate this moment right here, y'all. Can we just sit back? Okay, can we just sit back for a minute? I'm just sitting back, chilling on my couch. And I just want to celebrate the fact that I got started. So we're going to sow a seed right now in the ground. I got my plant that's right here. It's fake, but we're going to let it be symbolic for just sowing a seed in our own ground, sowing a seed in ourselves, putting the best bet on ourselves and saying I did it. Better than saying I did it, say that I'm doing it, to say that I did it. Y'all, you just imagine this. Okay, this is my first time literally recording my podcast while I am going to launch it. About 2 years ago, I had a birthday party. I rented out a facility. I invited my friends. We had a good time and we recorded this amazing podcast, right? And I'm like, I'm going to launch it. Then next thing you know, just earlier this year, I did another podcast with women leaders. Yes, we went live stream through my organization, Women Who Lead Connect, and I never launched it. And here we are today, because I said, I'm going to put this bet on myself. I'm just going to sow the seed. Y'all, I don't even have notes. I don't even have all my notes. I wrote down some things. I was thinking about some things, and I was just like, just do it. Just do it right where you are at. Can we name this podcast Just Do It, or Get It Done, or I Am Doing It on today? Listen, okay. So since this is our very first podcast, and I'm really excited, and I have a whole bunch of things to talk about that is not going to happen in this one podcast, I want to bring you into my life just a little bit, let you know a little bit about me, a little bit about what I'm going to talk about. And literally, I'm hoping that I'm able to reach, train, and transform. I'm hoping that by the end of this podcast that I said something that is actually an answer prayer to each and every one of you. I'm hoping that it's something that's actually life-changing, something that you've been needing. I'm hoping that this moment right here for you, maybe you're driving in your car, maybe you're seeing it on social media or on some type of platform. I'm hoping that it is something that you have been wanting to hear for a long time. I'm literally sitting in a place of vulnerability right now because I've been in a place of kind of sort of like heaviness myself. And I was asking myself, how was I going to push myself out of this heaviness, and why am I in this heaviness? So I had to kind of look back over my life in the previous months, the previous days, and even the previous hours, right? And kind of evaluate my situation. And I had to say, am I happy where I am at? And why am I not happy? And what do I need to do about it? So, of course, I turned on my YouTube. I went to YouTube and I started to listen to people like Priscilla Shire, and I started to listen to, I got a text message earlier today, and I was listening to Juanita Bynum, and I was listening to Victory Bond, I think that's her name, and they just their words started to encourage me. So I'm hoping that the same thing that they gave me on today, that I am going to give you on today. Some encouragement, hope, stir up some faith on the inside of you, because that's who I am and that's what I do. So I'm hoping that my podcast is very just relatable, authentic. And it's going to be, because I'm just going to give you absolutely me in the raw, how it is, building the best you from building the best of me, or God building the best of me. So I'm just like, Sha'Meca, do it. Do it. Just get up, do the podcast, just do the thing. Maybe I'm speaking to you on today. What is it that you know that you haven't been doing that you should do? If you've been in a place of vulnerability, you've been in a place of trying to figure things out, you've been in a place where things are not working out, or you get attacks from every single side of your life. How do you change the trajectory of that? Not the trajectory of it in 20 years from now, 10 years from now, 5 months from now, or even 5 hours from now. How do you change the trajectory of your life in your now moment? And so, of course, I was having a conversation with myself in my head, because that's what we do, right? When we're by ourselves, when we're trying to figure things out, we have all these thoughts that are going on in our head, and we're just like, self, what are you going to do? Like, you have to give yourself your own prep talk. Don't let people say you're crazy or you're weird. I mean, just be crazy and weird, but just get to the answer, right? And so the answer for myself on today was, start doing every single thing that you believe that God placed in your belly, and just execute it. Execute it without having a plan. You know, like when you're building a business, they tell you to like get a business plan. And hey, y'all, I'm a business major. I have a bachelor's in business. I have a master's in public policy. I love writing policies and procedures. I love rules and regulations. Like, that's my life. I've been in the education field for like forever, teaching all the way from kindergarten up to college, academic advisor, resource coordinator, a nursing coordinator, right? A practical nursing coordinator. And all of these different things. I kind of lost track of what I was saying. But this is the Build the Best You podcast, and that's what you do. And I'm going to just be like, Holy Spirit, give me the words. Give me the remembrance. You know, this is what this podcast is going to be about, because my whole life is really about, God, I need your leading. When I forget and when I can't, you can. I hope this is making sense to somebody when you have to do it, right? See, God just dropped it back in my spirit. There I was talking about, in life, they tell you to just have a plan. You know, have a plan. Who are you going to be from 5 years from now? Have this business plan. But I realized that in life, it doesn't always work out like that. You don't always have the business plan where God drops an idea. Sometimes the only thing you have is to just start getting it done and write the business plan later. So how was I going to transition myself from this very vulnerable, season that I'm in, this vulnerable season of me rediscovering, who I am? Here I am as this mama 5, mind you. Yes, I know. I don't look like a mama 5. Well, yes, I do look like a mama 5 because I am a mama 5. And this is how a mom of 5 looks. Well, for me, I'm not comparing myself to anyone else. This is how a mama 5 looks for me. I need you to grasp everything that I'm saying right now, because in this place of needing to execute some things in your life, you just have to realize you are who you are. Your size, you are who you are. Your intellect, you are who you are. Your eyes and your hair and your makeup or your non-makeup, right? And trust me, on this podcast, I'm going to be making up words because I can do that. That's who I am. I am a creator, and that's who God created me to be, and I'm fine with that. And that's what you have to be. You have to be fine with who you are and where you are at, and even in the places of feeling isolated. Who are you in those times of isolation? Understanding that that's what you carry at that moment, and you are still significant and you are still valuable, even in your vulnerabilities, even in those dark places, right? You remember, or you understand, because I'm going to give you guys scripture too, because that's just who I am. And that's what I live. And my total dependency is on God. And I cannot do it without him. I need you to catch that right there. You cannot do it without him. And even in the doing it, without all of the planning, without all of everything that you are and your whole intellect, it's just trusting God blindly every step of the way. Does that make sense, or does that make sense? And it might not make sense at the moment, but when you do it, you begin to write the story that you're living and realize that this is how the story is going to be written. And this is how I'm going to get from my now to my next. Right? And so I'm here doing the podcast, and I'm talking to you about this subject that I just made up, which is get it done. So the first book that I wrote, that I self-published, is called Getting Started and Finishing It. But really it's titled Believe You Can, Getting Started and Finishing It. And that it is anything, right? So I might have moms, wives, women who lead, entrepreneurs, emerging speakers, influencers, coaches, and trainers, whoever I'm listening to right now. I'm just talking to that woman who just needs the support of another woman to say, I don't even know exactly who I am, but I need to do something because I'm finding myself lost in the trenches. I'm finding myself lost watching everybody on social media have this huge success story, and I don't even see my own success. Let me just give you a little encouragement right now. You are successful because you're breathing. Come on, let's compliment you right now. You are listening. You can hear. You have a heartbeat. All right. Whether it's skipping, whether it's fluttering at this moment or whatever, you're alive, you're viable, you're here. And that's a success story. You're doing something even though you don't think that the something that you're doing has value, but it does. So I want us to take a moment right here to breathe, because I need a moment to breathe, because I'm literally speaking to you from my dome. Yep, from my dome. We're going to talk about we're going to talk about slang. I'm going to talk slang words. I'm going to talk, because I'm from Chicago. I'm from the south side of Chicago, but I've been in the DC area for the last 9 years. So I keep my hood with me, but I don't always try to, go back there. But I do go back there. So you're going to hear me talking all type of lingo and dialect, okay? Because I have a mixture of a lot of different things, right? But we're here. We're going to take a deep breath, because I'm going to pull in some more thoughts. I'm going to talk to you on this podcast that I am doing right now. Like I am living in what I said I wanted to do. That's key right there. To do it because you have decided that you're going to live in what you said that you were going to do regardless of the circumstance. And so I want you to take a moment, and I want you to take a deep breath, and I want you to breathe. And I want you to close your eyes and begin to think about who you are, where you are, and where you want to be. And I want you to imagine yourself being somewhere that's serving you well. I want you to imagine yourself right now getting everything that you pray for according to his riches and glory. I want you to get everything in your mind right now that says, I am somebody, and I'm going to achieve what I need to achieve, regardless of what my situation look like, regardless of who believes in me and who don't believe in me, regardless if I didn't believe in myself. I am just going to take one step forth, and I'm going to trust God to take the next step. Crazy thing. I just thought about it. I remember in around 2002, I was getting my first apartment. I was in my first apartment, and I remember there was a lot of chaos going on in the neighborhood, chaos going on in my life. I mean, I had a whole bunch of tickets, y'all. I had a whole bunch of tickets, and I was learning about tithing at the time, but then I was also learning about how to, I was learning about friendship and who to keep as a friend and who to get out of my circle and who to stay connected with. And I was learning how to navigate life on my own in my own apartment on the second floor. And I remember praying, and this is my prayer, my intimate time with God. And the only thing that came out of my mouth, and I believe it was so directed by God. It was so directed by the Holy Spirit, And it is just amazing how God just meets you right where you are. It's amazing how God doesn't judge you because you don't know the Bible verbatim, but he knows the rhythm or the vibrations of your heart for him. And I had my Bible and I was sitting there and I was like, God, and this is how I remember it. I said, God, if you take one step, I'm going to take the next. Then I was like, no, if I take one step, I need you to take the next. And this is me saying it to you, but also reminding myself that I knew that I could not do all the things that I needed to do. I knew that I could not have successes if I did not do it with God. Emmanuel, which is God is with us. I knew at that moment, young, 20s, God, I cannot do this without you. And when I did that, the trajectory of my life began to change in my mind. And I didn't realize that it began to change in my life. When you begin to speak words like, I'm going to do this and I'm going to do this with God. And when I take one step and God, you going to take the next step, like you've activated a place of confidence and courage on the inside of you that God has been waiting for you to say. So I need some people on the other side of this camera, on the other side of this podcast to begin to say, I'm going to do it. And then I want you to just get some courage and get out of your own little zone and be like, I did it. I did what I'm going to do because it's already done. You're going to be like, Sha'Meca, why are you saying it like that? Because if my God is the same God today, yesterday, and forevermore, and that he knows my end from my beginning, and he's the author and the finisher of my faith, then that means that everything that I'm going to do is already done and I already did it. I'm just living my today, but my tomorrow has already happened as God see fit. And see, that's the thing where you have to have courage and so much courage and confidence on the inside of you that you understand like, hey, my today and my tomorrow and my yesterday was and is and will always be in the hands and in the palm of God. Is that good or is that great? Is that good or is that great? I don't know about y'all, but I'm building up, like God is building up some confidence on the inside of me and it excites me. Okay, so let's get into this mode right here. So I just was told I got a few minutes to go. I want to bring you into what life is like for me. And the best way for me to, share the words that I'm sharing with you is because I'm living it or I've already lived it. I think we help people out so much that if we share our own journey and our own testimony, because then that's living proof that things literally work. So I'm here with all vulnerabilities. I'm here to share everything as God leads, as he imparts in me, as he leaves a message in my heart, and as he leads, as he continues to guide me each and every step of the way. So with all mistakes and all errors and all imperfections, and some days not having on the red hair and on the makeup and having, the perfect atmosphere, because truth be told, I'm literally a mom of 5. So some days there's going to be toys on the couch. Some days the angle of the camera is going to be a whole different way. But how I am going to celebrate myself in this Building the Best You podcast is just getting it done, what's already been written, without trying to be perfect, but allowing God to do something with my imperfections. And that's in the doing it. So I hope that you guys are excited. I'm glad that you joined me on this podcast on today. Whether I hit you up in your inbox or I'm flooding my social media so that you can get this, I'm praying for your life as I am living in my life, that eyes haven't seen, ears haven't heard, neither has it entered into the heart of man what God has in store for you. Does that make sense? So if it hasn't entered into the heart of man what God has in store for you, it doesn't matter who's against you. It doesn't matter the negative words. It doesn't matter what anybody has said or what they've done or anything, because it hasn't even entered into the heart of man what God has in store for you or for me. And one of the things that I know, that in Jeremiah 29:11, that God has a plan to prosper you, not to harm you, but to give you a hope and a future. So I want you to think future things. I want you to think futuristic things for your life. And here it is. It might not always be quiet on my podcast, because like I said, I'm a mom of 5 and things get real around here. And in order for me to execute anything, I have to execute it in the excellence of my home. And sometimes the excellence of my home can look chaotic, but it's just right for me. So listen, we're here, the Building the Best You podcast. I hope you just enjoyed this great segment right here. Leave some comments. Let me know what you want me to talk about. Let me know what it is that you want to hear. Let me know what you just need, even the dark places, right? But guess what? Darkness cannot consume light. So anything that you're going through, your light in your life, even if it looks like a little bit, it's going to shine. Let's get it. Let's go. Let's do it. Say it with me. I'm going to do it. I did it. And it's done. Be blessed, y'all.
Hey, it's me, Sha'Meca Latai. Thank you for joining me for the Building the Best You podcast, my power spot. Join me weekly to get powered up in your business or your home with various subjects, powerful guests, and actionable steps, all for the glory of God. Visit IamSha'MecaLatte.com and stay connected.